What's up, everybody? Welcome back to a new video. If you're new around here, please make sure to like and subscribe down below. I know it's been a while since I've uploaded a video. I've been really busy with things out of my control, which has kept me away from the computer. So, without further ado, let's jump right into this, and we've got a lot to talk about. So tomorrow is today is the 28th of May. So probably by the time you guys are watching this, we are already into runoff day of the state of Texas, which is very, very, very important. The Texas runoffs are some of the most important in the country, and we're going to be watching these very, very closely. I think that there's a lot to talk about here, and a few key things to analyze. So first of all, if you guys haven't already known, I have already made a video on the congressional runoffs, and I am now making a video on the legislature runoffs. A lot of incumbents in the legislature, just like incumbents in the Congress, they were forced into runoffs, a lot of these RINOs. So we need to talk a little bit about these. First of all, I think the big one everyone's watching is the 21st district in the State House, which is the Speaker's district. Dade Phelan is getting a primary challenge from David Covey, and this is something I did not know at the time of the last video. Apparently, the other candidate that was in the race, because it was a three-way until the other person was eliminated, that other person endorsed Covey for the race. So I strongly believe Phelan is going to go down. So we have to talk about runoffs real quick before we get too far into this. So a runoff is when you fail to secure a majority of votes, or whatever the threshold is. South Carolina, it's 30% threshold needed to avoid a runoff. Texas, it's 50. Most states, it's 50. Some states don't even have runoffs. But other than that, Texas has runoffs, and it's worth analyzing them. Because usually when there are runoffs, at least in Texas's history, the incumbents have lost. We have not seen a Speaker of the House forced into a runoff in Texas in a very, very long time. And that Speaker of the House also lost his re-election bid in the primary. So we should also look at the legislature. Now the legislature, not everything's up. Only a couple of these. Both of the seats in District 30 for Democrats and Republicans were forced into runoffs. But I think the biggest thing we need to look at are the incumbents. Because Holland is one of the Paxton impeachers, as far as I'm concerned, and he's getting a primary challenge from Pearson. Pearson is the proper choice. He's the better option. Schoolcraft will likely win that primary tomorrow. Quemple is one of the other Paxton impeachers. So a lot of the Paxton candidates probably are going to win. Now, before we go on to too much more on these legislative races, we're going to analyze and talk a little bit more about the congressional races, because I think that there's a lot to talk about here. So in my last video, I primarily made the video on Gonzales and Herrera. Now, I'm going to say this. We haven't had any polling out of the state. But honestly, I would not be shocked if Gonzales wins. So Texas voters, if you live in Texas 23rd, in the southwestern district of Texas, get out and vote tomorrow. We need to get out in droves and vote for the conservatives. Brandon Herrera is your guy. Go out there, vote for him. And if you're in Texas's 12th district, you want to vote for John O'Shea. We got to talk a little bit about this idiot known as Craig Goldman, so that way you know why you got to vote for John O'Shea. Well, the answer is very simple. Craig Goldman voted to impeach Ken Paxton. Why do we trust him to go to Congress and then just subvert President Trump's entire agenda if he wins the White House? Well, you can't. You can't trust Goldman. You have to get him out. He is not an incumbent. He might win the primary, and I think he will win the primary. If anything, I think Gonzales has a higher chance of losing than Goldman, but they both have a small chance at losing. So yeah, we got the Paxton impeachers that need to go. We've got a bunch of incumbents in the state house legislature that have to go. If I had to guess, in all honesty, I'm going to make some predictions here. I feel like in the 21st district, Covey ends up with like 55% of the vote to Phelan's 43% or 57%. I'm sure there's going to be some write-ins at the end of the day, but honestly, I don't care about the write-ins. And then I feel like Pearson's going to win over Holland. It's probably going to be really close. Like, Pearson may win by like 51 to 49, something like that. Just because Holland's an incumbent and did worse than the non-incumbent in that race. If we take a look at the districts down here, if we look at one of these districts, that other person's, a lot of these other runoffs, as you can see as we get further down here, a lot of these runoffs are Democrats. However, I don't feel like, just like the Republicans, I feel like the Democrats that also were forced into runoffs as incumbents are also likely to lose. It's just I think what's going to happen. Schoolcraft will probably win that primary, taking away more of Gumpel's votes for the Paxton stuff and a whole bunch of other stuff. And as you see in the 55th district, Hickland took out Shine, who was another Paxton impeacher. Money took out Dutton, another kind of Rhino Mooney is the more conservative option in the state. So yeah, if you live in Texas, make sure to get out. Texas 12, vote for John O'Shea. In Texas 23rd, vote for Brandon Herrera. In Texas's HD 21, vote for David Covey. Just vote for any of them that are not incumbents. That's the easiest thing to do. We just got to take these rhinos out. That's what the establishment wants you to believe. I know that people out there on X and all over the place on other news sites just writing up people, or not writing up, but just saying if we don't nominate Tony Gonzalez, it opens up the hatchway to get a Democrat in that seat. Well, that's honestly rubbish, because the district is not a Biden seat. It's a Trump plus 7 district. And in the case of Texas' 21st district, that is a Trump plus, I think, 30 seat. And there's no Democrat running in that district either. So the general election is that primary election. So if Covey wins the primary there tomorrow, he will be the next member in the Texas House from there. Now, I don't know who's going to be the new speaker, but we're going to have to wait and see. We have a lot to talk about, and not really a lot to talk about in this video. But with that being said, please make sure to get out tomorrow if you're in Texas. Please vote. Vote for anybody that's not an incumbent. And tomorrow on Wednesday, we will have the election results ready for all of you to analyze, and we will go through exactly what happens. I'm kind of expecting a mixed bag out of these results, but I'd love to see some surprises like a Herrera win or an O'Shea win or some other things. But I think the nuts and bolts, I think what we're going to see is we're going to see Phelan lose. I really think the speaker is going to go down. So that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new around here, please make sure to like and subscribe down below, and enjoy the rest of your day.